Here we go.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look like we're getting into the WWE now. Or what's that fake wrestling stuff that's going on? All the stuff that's going on in the world right now, and we sitting up arguing and fussing with each other. How do we look to all these immigrants coming over here saying, look at this.
Hmm.
Tonight, here to talk about this, we're going to have the Accomack godmother here to explain some things that she's doing down there on her land, which all of us should be doing and helping each other out with. But instead, we're doing something totally different. We're going to get in that tonight. But first of all, I want to say, hey, Lisa.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me,
Good.
Carrie.
Oh, everything is cool, but just this stuff that I'm hearing about. What's up?
Man, it was okay. What we have to ask ourselves is how, first of all, and why. How did it come to be that Dane Calloway and Judge Joe Brown are on this forum together to not even really talk about anything educational, factual, or actually grounded in any kind of research? How and why? That's all you got to ask. Why is this happening? How is it happening? Does it seem natural? Is it grounded in anything productive? What is it rooted in? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Whenever we see stuff, we need to ask ourselves some fundamental questions. That's what we need to do. Not just fall in. That's MK Ultra just falling in. Don't just fall in. Don't just go jumping down the tunnel. Like, don't.
Yeah, a couple of people called me last night with it, and I still haven't seen it. And I'm like, really?
Right.
What is this? So you have all these, and you have an indigenous thing going on. And this is how the confusion is always in our lap, because
Mm-hmm.
we always fall for it. Dude,
Right.
you gonna tell a 75-year-old man you gonna run up on him? I mean, this is where the Negro is. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, we're to the point because we're not gonna have nobody to blame but ourselves.
Right.
And then on the other side, and this is where I'm starting to see when you talk about those British, those Black Britons. That's kind of what Joe Brown reminds me of. Dude, you don't have no information to share with us. You've given your life to the justice system of America that has shown us little justice at all. And now you're gonna come back after you done got your money from them to try to tell us who we're not? Really? So this is how we look to people all around the room. This is what we do.
Right. That's how we doing it. That's how we're doing it. And I mean, are we not concerned with somebody that we know is intelligent? We know Joe Brown is intelligent. He's not a dummy. You know, we know that he sits up there and he injects that he's Choctaw every now and again for whatever reason, right? He's putting that out there. But he thinks you're ridiculous and you need to focus on fixing your life. As if, first of all, Negroes, we our lives are fucked up. I didn't know my life was fucked up. I thought I was a very productive citizen. Most of my family, I think, is that. So what are you saying about the Negro? That we are not productive citizens? We are out here just ratchet, more so than any other people? What are you trying to depict us as, Judge Joe Brown? Really? Because there's a lot of poor ass other colonial people that are really not doing right. So I don't understand why he's acting like we need all this correction. Okay. So whenever people start talking like that, they working, they got a script, right? They working off a script.
Working off a script.
They're working off a script. So what are we watching? If Why are we watching?
Distractions. That's what I see. Distractions.
Right.
So we can always be confused. So we can never know nothing. So people can come just tell us anything.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying, if these cats calling themselves Africans, let them be Africans. If these cats calling themselves Moors, let them be Moors.
Right.
All that stuff. But it's coming to a head. And I know those of you who think, who can figure out stuff, who's done genealogy on their family, I know you can see it. These people are
Hmm.
trying to make us bow to their will. And it seems like we just going with it. I can do what I want to do. If I want to bow to their will, I'm going to bow to their will. That's how we acting.
Right.
Listening to dumb shit.
Right. I think yeah, because these people are keeping you spinning on the same stuff. You're not moving forward with this kind of thing. You're not evolving with this kind of stuff. And they don't want you to evolve. They don't want you to get to that next step of like, you know what? Yeah, I do really need to just talk to my family and get this daggone genealogy done. Yeah, I really do need to go ahead and start my daggone 5031C. Yeah, I really do need to get on Facebook or and all these different social media apps and gather up the people that are in this homeland, this county or counties that my people are from. I really do need to get into these Indian books and find out which tribe. What's the real name of my people? Who was in this county? What is our real name? I really do need to organize ourselves under our true identities. I really do need to actually then really create an affidavit, a real one that can actually be applied to my real identity. Yeah. That's real status correction because it's bloodline and it's genealogy related. That's real. Not all this made up stuff. Not all these mechanisms that they sitting there telling, oh, he gonna get you with this more stuff. Or that's some fake stuff. Or I got the real stuff. No, the real stuff is in your family. If it's not something that is in your bloodline that you have, made up from your actual identity, then it ain't real, man. It just ain't real. It is
So
not
so
going to give you true freedom and true remedy.
so keep that in mind, guys, because all this stuff that's going on today, and we got some other things we want to talk about too, about what they're doing with the kids and trying to, what you were saying, what Biden was saying. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Well, I don't know if anybody like I had asked him to put in the chat this link in Facebook. It's called this now, and what it does is if you put it on your alerts, if you add it, you join the group or whatever it is, the alerts will tell you Biden's on like Facebook on this now like twice a week. Pelosi was on this week. They got marches that's on this, all kinds of little stuff that are live. But being on a live with Biden is crazy because I heckle him. I got a badge. I've been on there so much. So I they I heckle him. I just basically say, you're a terrorist. You're a biological assassin. You're a biological terrorist. You're murdering indigenous people. You will not give this vaccine to the Accomack Indians of Northampton, Virginia. I put that out there. You have to manifest and you have to say, I do not consent to you vaccinating children. These things need to be uttered to these people directly. This is an avenue for you to do it. I wish you guys would actually finally do it. I am tired of being the only one for the past 2 years to be on this now site and to be making these utterances to his face. When you do it to they obviously must have some kind of thing that shows what the chat is showing him while he's talking, because you can see him get disturbed. Sometimes he starts coughing, they cut it short, that it happens. But we need to be voicing this directly to the people that are actually manipulating us, because this is their power. They tell you, you say nothing, that's consent. Period.
Say that one more time, Lisa.
They tell you, you say nothing, that is consent, period. So if you say nothing to them, you can talk in the chat, you could talk to daggone, you go on African Americans and make all kinds of posts and say things. You can post to your friends, you can send things on your social media, but you have to talk to them. When they are telling you, yeah, we're going to vaccinate children, say, no, you're not, you demon, you freaking murderer, you terrorist, you assassin will not jab my children. You will not jab indigenous babies. You're a murderer of indigenous people. You have to say this to people. The more people that get on these lives and actually voice it to them, we can shut these people down because they win by our silence. Their power comes from our consent, and our silence is consent. And I don't understand why you're listening to the bull crap of people sitting up there going, "Oh, what's Dane doing? When there's real stuff going on?" He's talking about they're shipping out stuff right now to your pediatrician and your schools, and we're sitting up there watching Dane and the judge like it's a WWE or like Wild World of Wrestling something. What is this? Why are we watching it? I feel like it's some kind of Tom and Jerry stuff.
That's what it seems like. That's
You
exactly
know,
what it seems like.
I mean, y'all really think that this judge is gonna allow some, Cocoa Puff guy to talk to him? Okay, come on, Dane just learned how to talk. He just took lessons in the past year or two. Okay, he couldn't even speak. Now he can speak a little, but he couldn't even speak when he started to do YouTubes. Y'all know. So this guy who couldn't even talk, you think he's gonna let this guy who couldn't even talk stand and talk to him about I know where you live and no, they're celebrity friends. They're colleagues that are putting on a show for you. So you can be distracted and confused and divided. First of all, you're not doing what you should be doing. There's a lot of work you should and could be doing to stop what is happening to your people. One of which is to make sure that you voice get your discontent and that you oppose and do not consent to the powers that be. If you haven't done that, then whatever happens to your people, that's your fault. The blood is on your hands. If you cannot sit up there and say, oh yeah, I honestly have sent messages to the governor, the president, Fauci, the school system, the school board, whatever, any and all powers that be. If you have not sent any messages to them, then the blood's on your hands because you consented to it. And then you're gonna sit there, I don't know why they did it. Came into schools, really?
Well, can we move into what you were talking about, with your family, Betty, I forget the last name, some of the things that Lisa can show us right now, what we all should be doing. And we're not doing it because we listening to the bullshit that these clowns playing with. Check out what she shows you. And this applies to all of us. If we just go and look, but just like we not even going to look, we not saying shit when these people saying we coming for y'all asses. We don't even care. But we care about clown shit. I mean, what's up with that? So Lisa, could you share that? Could you share that with us?
A lot, every, almost every waking moment, I'm working on getting our land back, restoration. These daggone mother suckers are arguing about who coined the term reclamation declaration. I'm like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? They're
Foundational
fighting
Black
over
Americans.
semantics of who says whatever. What? That's how. Let me tell y'all something. That's how we ended up in this position back in the 16, 17, and 1800s. The same stuff that they're doing now, this same distraction and clowning, that's what they used back then, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. But guess what? Our people cared enough to secure the bag. And what you don't know is a lot. Because nobody's giving nobody because everybody's playing these games, these hate games, and nobody's delivering. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, this is a land grant for the Genghis.
We can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't.
Oh, she just clicked herself off. She'll be back. But look, y'all, for real, all this bullshit is clown shit. All of y'all know, ain't no 75-year-old man gonna be arguing with a kid that's young enough to be his son. Here she is.
I'm
Welcome
back.
back, Lisa.
I'm back. Okay. All right. So here's a land grant. Y'all see that for the Genghis. All right. This is on Library of Virginia. Okay. Y'all see it?
See it? Yes.
You see that there's 650 acres. Okay. Now, what are you going to do with this, right? Well, it's all public information and it's taught in schools and it's all now. Okay. So let's kind of look at this. All right. Here's a map of the land, the plat, okay, of the reservation land, the 600 and really it's that actually 650. That's another location actually, but this one is 690 acres, right? That's part of the fight. All right. Because my people come from the same area. My mom and dad. I happen to have like 21 of these that I'm connected to, right? They don't know I'm connected to 21 of these people, but I know. So when they trying to make moves or act like I ain't from there or I ain't them, boom, I'm very well connected. Okay, the genealogy, I put it in work. Okay, I'm not worried about what so and so is doing because I got work to do. I got to make sure that I know that this is Ibby. This Ibby is my Ibby. That this Ibby is on Genghis-Skin, is on Indiantown Park. So I can actually claim the park because not only am I Ibby's, but this is also my relative, and that's my relative, and that's my relative. That's my relative. This is my relative. That's my relative. Okay. I can sue PNC Bank because of Ann Drighouse. I can make it stick because I got to look at the details and I got to recheck my facts and I got to support it by doing connecting the dots from person to person to person. Who did she sell her land? How did she sell her land? And I got to look at the paperwork and the deeds and look at all the fraud that's going on. Okay, all the fraudulent information. You got to look at that. It's people just want to talk smack to you. It's not you can't do it's not a joke. You see the date on this? This is 1813. I got to notice this is Indiantown Road. Okay, where is that now? I got to notice this is County Road. What road is that now? Because they got people that are modern day pleckers, and I found Virginia's modern day plecker. In doing my research, I realized that Helen Roundtree is plecker. She's plecker for 2021. She's still alive. She writes book about Indians, and she uses that information to take your land from you and to change the identity of the Virginia Indians to white people. She does everything to take your inheritance away. She is plecker 2021. 2021. And I knew she was evil before, but as I started to actually dig into the records, I was like, she's really evil. And I realized how evil she was yesterday when I looked in the records of this relative, Anne Drickhouse. Anne Drickhouse married a Drickhouse. The main you're not, as when you get back further, there's going to be less records you have of them. There won't be census records. There won't be as many, documents you have for people, right? Some of it's because they got rid of it because it shows that it's you. Some of it's just that they didn't exist. Whatever. But Anne, the document that still stands for Anne is her marriage to Drickhouse. She's a Bingham who married a Drickhouse. Okay. They got married in 1802. That's recorded. But then when I went to see what happened to Anne's land, I discovered the deed, and the deed claims that she changed her name. But why is there no marriage if she changed her name and married some guy named Charles Poole? You know how I found that out? First of all, not just by the deed, but by that book written about Indians that was written by Helen Roundtree. In Helen's book, she falsely claims that Anne, in parentheses, Mrs. Poole, married this Charles Poole in 1820, and then he died sometime before or around 1829. Oh, really? She only lasted for like 9 or 8 years? Right. And then in 1831, no, or 1830 or 1831, somewhere after 1829, oh, miraculously, after he dies, she sells the land. Right? I go to look for this Charles Poole. There is no Charles Poole, and not even in America hardly, let alone in Virginia. But then I finally did find a Charles Poole, but it was in Massachusetts, and the Charles Poole was in the Civil War. The Civil War is after he's supposed to be dead. So how's she gonna marry somebody who it didn't even exist until after he's supposed to be dead? So these are the kind of things that are in these, that you start seeing in these records, man. And so then I have to go and find out, okay, so after that after this, you got to figure out, okay, this is the Poole. See, that's the, no, that's not it. Which one's it? And see the Poole one, Anne Poole right there. Okay, right there, Anne Poole, right? That's Anne Poole. So Anne Poole, what happened after Anne Poole, right? Because this guy got the land. This guy's the guy who has the land, right? He has the land now. So now he's got all these properties. And most of these properties are my family's. These are all Indian properties. And he got Indian property, that Indian property, that Indian property, that Indian property, that. And so now you got to decipher, okay, where did her land go? Who did he sell it to next? I know it's PNC's now, but how did it get from Arthur to PNC? Okay. So you got to go digging through books and figuring out which one of these people got her plot, because they don't describe it the same. They're going to describe it by the new neighbors. The new neighbors have new name and boundaries. It's complicated, okay? It's complicated. If you're doing stuff like that, you don't got time to worry about these people being clowns, or who they calling who, and who they're calling a fraud. Because meanwhile, I'm going to the courthouse, and there are more people trying to look at their records than I've ever seen. Friday, there was like several people in there late looking at daggone deeds, old deeds. Why? Because they see that we're coming on their heels, and they want to check their stuff and check it twice, right? People should be on alert. They should be on alert because they stole all this stuff, and we need to be on it to retrieve our things before they try to manipulate something again. But what are they doing while they're manipulating stuff or figuring out what they can do? Distracting you. So you don't defend yourself. You don't have no offense, no defense, no nothing, because you just entertained. I'm TikToking. I'm watching TikTok. I'm making TikToks. Oh, I'm showing people I know how to dance. Really?
So
Really.
you seeing, so what you seeing that we have left, we have a lot of these, the people Judge Joe Brown age. Are you saying that they should be given information like you're disseminating now, so we can kind of get ourselves in a semblance of what we need to be doing?
We got to get ourselves in a semblance of what we need to be doing. And if really people had any idea, instead of just like fantasizing and being like, oh, this is cool. I've got new, sure, it's cool to have new information, but um, there's real stuff we need to be doing to change our trajectory. Okay. We
Yeah,
have to.
I want to share something with the audience that that you were just talking about when you were showing all the land patents and stuff. Do you guys realize how much land those people lived on? Do you realize what they could do with the land that they lived on then? And
Hmm.
this is the land that was supposed to be passed down to us. We're supposed to inherit, but we're always distracted. We always bumbling and stumbling, always laughing and shining. And this is what people are doing to the inheritance your people left for you.
Right. They got
How
so
do
much
we
land.
look?
Hmm. It's disrespectful because
It's
these
disrespectful.
people,
So you see, so all this stuff, you see how people can just come over from some bump up Egypt someplace and kill your children, and you don't open your mouth to say a word.
I'm sitting up there passing by. What does it say? Let me give you this.
But you emailing it to me?
No, no, no. I'm about to show y'all. I was just trying to
Oh,
blow it up a little bit. So I mean, they did stuff like this where they wrote that her heirs, his heirs from, okay, so the person, any persons whoever's will warn forever defend permanent, where Betty Powell has here set her heirs, and her hand is sealed this day written. So this is how this is her one of her deeds that they said she signed over. But Betty Drickhouse.
oh, she clicked herself off again. Oh, here she go. What would you say, Elise?
I'm sorry. Betty Drickhouse made sure she secured her things for us in the future, and the way that some of this stuff was written. But it doesn't matter because guess what? These colonial properties, these daggone land patents are forever. That's law. So it doesn't matter whether you sold it or not. It still goes back to the descendants. And they know this. But you don't know this and you don't care because what are you doing to get what is guaranteed to be yours? What are you doing? You're in there watching a bunch of buffoons distract you. That's what you're doing. You're watching a bunch of buffoons distract you from what you should be doing on purpose. Now see, look at this. This is what they put on the internet, right? So they're showing this image of the Genghis-Khan land, but they have cut off its dimensions because they got it going just past here. Okay? This does nowhere, no, in no way match with any of the land descriptions, nor does it match with this here Genghis Khan map. It doesn't because the streets do not line up. It doesn't match. It does not fit. It's like OJ. It does not fit. Okay. Okay. So that's the thing. They do things to try to diminish, to decrease, to lie, to tell you anything. They're gonna tell you anything, right? To try to get you to be wrong, to not be able to get back. But we have to protest, we have to fight, we have to create, uh we have to sue. You have to take steps to get what you have. What's she saying? Census records during that time show our people did not. No, but see they made sure to try to say we didn't read or write. But baby, everything's such a lie. Because we first of all, we had all these roads were there. This is just 1680. 1680. We're following suit. We were not living in the bush. We had towns, according to their report, towns, villages, cities. We were traveling to London. Understand that some of these people that people are saying are dark European or black European are us. Like the Indians that moved to England or did business in England and came back. We were in government. We were running things. Half of these grants existed because we were in office. I have ancestors that were in the House of Burgess. So what do we don't know the half.
Lisa, maybe this will help. Maybe this will help some people. Okay, so this is called American English. So you know what's the guy Strachey's book, how they spell libs and how they spell words. But when the time it got to us, the whole spelling was different. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, yes, because we influenced everything. That's why our English is different than even the
Their
way we
English.
say things. Do you understand? Like if you hear somebody from Mississippi versus somebody in Louisiana versus somebody in Virginia versus somebody in Pittsburgh, that's our indigenous languages and our daggone accents. Well, they're not African. They're not Nubian accents. They're not Nigerian accents. That's our indigenous words. That's our indigenous inflections. And we have impacted the way the English language is influenced by us. That originally German language is influenced by the indigenous people of the Americas the most. Because how does everybody say things now? They high-fiving all over the world. Why they high-fiving?
Because you
Stuff
do
like
it.
that. Why they high-fiving? Everything we do, we influence the entire world. And we're sitting up here acting like a bunch of crazy people, not realizing our might. Why? Why are we not going for what we need to go for? Why don't we have focus?
Do
Why
you
don't we have focus?
do you think it's fear?
I think it's lazy too. I think we're lazy. I really don't think we don't want to do this work. I think we like talking about it, but I don't think we want to do it. And I also think there's a lack of caring about the future. And I
Say that
think
again.
there's a satisfaction and there's a complacency because, oh well, if you got some, I got some death insurance, life insurance, whatever you got, I think, oh, I'm good. I'm not worried about the future. You're short sighted. You don't care about people that are 500 years from now, or 200 years from now, or 100 years from now, or
Like
even
those
50
people
years
did.
from now, huh?
Like those people did.
Like those people did. They cared. They were insightful. They're like, whatever's going on today, this stuff's going to the left. I'm still going to secure things for the future.
So how big is one of those plots that was on the map that you showed?
Some of them are 50 acres and some of them are over 25, anywhere from like 20, mostly like 30.
So that's basically how you can tell these people basically had their own businesses and their own industries, back then.
Right, right. So they're saying that Anne Drickhouse married and was Ann Poole, but Ann Poole, the only record for Ann Poole is a slaveholder who had 10 slaves. Now, why would she have to sell her little plot for 25 acres? She got damn 10 slaves. Make that make sense. What
Do
is the
you
truth?
do you think is that how we're quiet now? That's how a whole bunch of people, when they're doing stuff like that, they know that we're not going to say, the majority of us are not going to say anything. And the other half is not going to even listen to what you have to say. You know,
Right.
or want to learn what happened with your family because it probably happened to their family.
Right. And people don't, and people really don't wanna wanna be deal with real people doing real things. And then you've got all these assassins and all these social political overseers and all these fraudulent people that are being paid by the government to keep you interested in something else and to keep your daggone attention on something else and to make you think, well, this is the hot one, they got all the views, this is what you one you got to listen to, they got all the fans, everybody's listening to that, everybody's over here. You see, they create this, but they've been doing it forever. How did they kill? How did they kill the Queen of Hawaii? How did they take her down? They had people talking about each other. She don't know what she doing. Why is she the queen? She thinks she all that. I mean, and I'm being funny, but it's that that's how it started. That's how they do everything. They start with lies. They start with getting you to talk about each other, tear each other down, and then it's easy for them to take the queen down because you helped them.
So
You
so
helped
check
them.
so check this out. So we're gonna move to that, and this next item that we move to, I want you guys to check this out and see if you don't see the same things coming back around. Lisa, when we were talking earlier, you were talking about these HBCUs have graveyards with the indigenous people buried on it. Can
Oh
you?
yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. So for some reason, I just somehow happened, of course, like Hampton is our HBCU that is close to, because we're Northampton, it's part of the Hamptons. So Hampton is the HBCU that's closest to the Accomack Indians, right? So I'm like, let me just go off. So I'm like, okay, let me reach out to Hampton. Let me, talk to them about giving us, free tuition. We are, the Indians that everything was built upon. We are an indigenous people who some of us were actually sent to their Indian school because all these schools, all these colleges that were created and you got to understand what's the earliest university in the United. I mean, hey, they talk about the motherland. We had a university in 1837, Cheney State. Okay, so what are you talking about? We've been doing things forever, and before that, we already had churches and places of learning. We were doing stuff way before the Europeans got here. Okay, so let's keep this in mind when we think about it, things moving forward. Hampton was an Indian. It was a Hampton Institute, a Indian removal school. That's how it started. Who were the Indians? Us. Everybody along the eastern seaboard. Okay, from New England all the way down through Texas and all that. Okay, so the first Indian children that they brought to this removal school came from an internment camp in Florida, a prison internment camp in Florida,
For
okay,
children.
for children. Really, to separate these children from their families.
The same shit they doing today.
The same thing they're doing today. And so they did this. They took the kids away from the family. I have people that I've talked to um, in the Eastern Shore who's told me their great grandmother, or not their great grandmother, their grandmother, because this woman was that I talked to first about it. She's over 100, so she was telling me her grandmother, they was urging her to go to this school, right? And I'm like, wow, and so they pulled off people that were Accomack to be in these internment schools, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, you owe us because and understand, even these colored schools, everything that they did to get us off of our culture, to remove us from the skills that we were excellent at. Okay, and to whitewash us with colonialism. So we lost all our indigenous skills that made us rich, that made us win, that made us happy, and to make them accept whatever they wanted us to be, which is like them, but worse. Okay? So this is a removal school. So they're doing this, they're taking all of us indigenous people from the East Coast, Eastern Seaboard, and I'm looking online and there's a billboard on campus. It came up over, in my searches and stuff. And this billboard says that they have 38 graves on Hampton University campus. Children from the Indian school. I'm like, what? They got a cemetery on the campus with bodies of indigenous children? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay? So this is the thing. This is your child. They took your child away. First of all, you don't know where your child is at. You don't know how they living. You don't know how they torturing, raping, what kind of stuff they're doing to your kid, right? Right? And so then I guess they tell the family, Lisa's dead. I don't know. I guess they sent word, right? I guess they sent word. And next thing you know, your child ain't never coming home. They don't even send the body home. How disrespectful is that? You're gonna just take my child. My child's dead, and I don't even get the remains. Here it is, y'all. Check this out. Let me get that. Let me go ahead and put this camera on. Can y'all see that? The Hampton Indian Program. Hampton Institute began the Hampton Indian Program to Christianize and civilize the American Indians. You see, they said American Indians. They didn't say Native Americans. The first students' arrival at the Institute near midnight. They even got the time on the April 13th, 1878. They had been what? Incarcerated at Fort Marion in St. Augustine, Florida. Y'all, they said these kids had been incarcerated. Are you kidding me? In an attempt by the U.S. government to control their kinsmen. Oh, it's kidnapping for real. To control us, to terrorize us. Do you understand what has been happening to us? What is happening now? They're controlling us by doing things to our kids. Does this sound familiar? Later, the government officials recruited males and females from 65 tribal groups. Now later they added the Midwest. But this was initially an eastern seaboard, I mean all the way down south thing, right? So then later the government recruited males and females, and that's when they started showing them pictures of the other Indians to actually make you think, oh, those are the Indians. No, the Indians were us. And then later they mixed in some people from the Midwest because they wanted you to say, oh, they wanted to change the whole look of the Indian, right? They wanted to make sure, oh, these are what Indians are. They had to change that, right? So later they recruited males and females from 65 tribal groups from the Midwest and Southwest. Approximately 1,388 students participated before the program ended in 1923. 38 students from the program are interred in the integrated campus cemetery. The Hampton Indian Program became the model for the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania.
And I want everybody to know too that Harvard University, that big college that everybody wants to go to, was the same way. It started out as an Indian school. All these universities, all these colleges that they have around the country is built on top of your people. But Dane Calloway and Judge Joe Brown is giving you all the information you need to help your families. And this is what I'm saying, y'all. We can't keep being dumb. We can't.
But and also, if you're not making real moves to try to reclaim, having this information is one thing. What are you trying to secure for your family for it? You're not organized. You haven't done research. You too busy listening to entertainment. You haven't gotten yourself together to the point where you can say, you know what, I'm gonna have to put a letter out to Hampton and say, let's talk about this sign you got, and the fact that you got people buried there, and we need to make sure my family don't pay tuition. Okay, we need to make sure that that's a rule. I don't care about your rule that you have to be recognized Indians, because we are original Indians. We are pre-colonial Indians, and we are historically documented Indians, and we are Hampton Indians, Northampton people. So we need free tuition. Can you mandate that with a friggin' reclamation declaration? I don't think so. You got to be within your real folk. How are you going to claim the fact that you're under your jurisdiction of your own people if you're not even under your own real people? Accomack Indians are under jurisdiction of Accomack Indians. They're not under the jurisdiction of a reclamation declaration, or whatever the hell that is. You cannot get real remedy without your real roots. Period.
And everybody, so this is what I'm saying. So this is what everybody is, like Lisa's doing, like a whole lot of other people are doing. They're bringing out information to show you what she's showing you with all these deeds and stuff is basically what's at your disposal. But you're going to have to speak up and start getting your family together and getting wherever you live, finding out about that place and doing that research. Because I can tell you one thing for sure. These immigrants that are coming over here, they're researching your land. You know why? Because they know we don't do it. We rather listen and play dumb shit all the time. And this is what's happening to us. And so we know it. You know it now. Everybody who's on this podcast seeing it. This is your stuff. And for you to just sit back and do nothing and sniggle and giggle while this is going on, it's like Lisa said earlier, that shit's on you.
No, but also, Carrie, people in the chat need to share it. Half of the people half of the people in the chat are not sharing it. These daggone buffoons got all these daggone, shuck and jive daggone disciples. They're sharing their stuff all over the place. You're watching people named Sanchez. I watched a little bit of that Sanchez. I got sick to my stomach. I'm like, he's got that many followers? Why?
Yeah.
Why do these idiots have that many followers? Why are that many people flocking to these channels? Why are they sharing, and Carrie's folks aren't? Share his channel. Blow his shit up. Give him all the money. Why are these buffoons getting money and all this sharing, and people that have principles and true information and been doing it forever and writing about it aren't getting all that love? The love needs to go where the goodness is. The love needs to go where the intellect is. The love needs to go where the person has character and the person cares and the person's putting in work and has put in work for over 15 years. That's where the damn love needs to go. You need to make sure to share this. There are people that are on all these dumb groups on Facebook and on Instagram and all these other sites, and they don't even know about African Americans ain't African. They don't even know about that group, because some damn foreigners grab their attention, and that's all they know. They're listening to daggone people from Jamaica. They're listening to daggone Chief Janice from Nigeria. They're listening to all kinds of other people from the islands. What's the other one from the islands? Smith, Betty Smith from the islands. You didn't listen to anybody. These people that are not going to, they cannot fight and they cannot direct you because their roots are not here. Their claim is not the same. Those are the people that everybody's like, oh, they're the greatest. You're dumb. Stop being dumb. You're following people that are leading you down the wrong path. You're acting like your dad going Little Red Riding Hood. Stop it. Stop following these wolves. It's just crazy. It's so crazy. Stop it.
Man, I heard they have this sister out here that she calls herself the American Princess or something like that, and
Eris.
she's clearly African.
Oh, the one that's African is Janice, Chief Janice.
I don't know their names, but it's like, dude, are we really following this, or is it their people following them trying to get an intake on what's going on? Because like you shared tonight, see, we're not looking for our land. The majority of us aren't. Like you
Right.
said earlier, the majority of us don't care.
Right.
These foreigners coming over here, they know that. You don't think these Afghanistanis over here know that you don't give a shit about your people? Yeah,
Right.
they do. They
Right.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't even care about that.
Nope.
This is so I'm saying. So this is what I'm saying about that whole Dane Calloway Judge Joe Brown stuff. Man, we ain't got time for no bullshit like that.
Right.
That's some straight coon shit all the way around from both sides. These brothers are supposed to be helping us.
Right.
These supposed to both be trying to show us some remedy, especially Judge Joe Brown. He worked in the legal system for what, 40 years? Come on,
Mm-hmm.
brother, really? But he can't do that because he had other things to do. Now, like she said earlier with this cat Dane Calloway, come on, dude. This not is what American Indian men do. They don't dog out their ancestors, but I don't really blame them. I blame the idiots who listen to them because, dude, you can't even pick up reality.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even pick up reality.
That's right.
We don't even get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's like she said, when you talk to these people, these Joe Bidens, all them, talk to them. The more of us that talk to them, damn, we rather listen to dumb shit.
Right.
And that's why all this shit and on damn near every piece of news that's going on in America is talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're always the focus of everything. If you go to Nigeria, you're never the focus. If you go to Japan, you're never the focus because you're not the people there. The finger's always pointed at you here. Remember that. Remember that, because not only are these people making us look like asses, we're making our damn self look stupid.
Right.
And we teaching that same dumb shit to our children.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, seriously, what kind of asshole do you have to be?
Right.
You won't even share this information with your kids, and I bet you they come up with some stuff. But we just, give them a bicycle, an ice cream cone, and let them go on their way.
Right.
So what else, Lisa? What do we got to look out for coming up? Especially the people that's looking, because I know some people.
I think people need to make sure that they get themselves comfortable with growing some plants inside. I think they need to get comfortable with having a stockpile of stuff because they're gonna be doing stuff. I think that people need to make sure they buy a little gold or a little silver or something. Have some other, just be prepared because they haven't been able to kill us off. Now they're trying to go for our kids. The next thing is going to be our pocket, our jobs, our food, our survival. Okay, they want us to fight the daggone foreigners. They're trying to get us in a war, you know, so they can kill us. They can kill us in large numbers because we fighting and carrying on. There's all these things they're going to try a lot of different things because the land is everything, and America is everything. And they'll do anything to take this down.
You gotta ask yourself, why are all these people from all over the world coming here? Why are they leaving their homes, packing up their mamas and daddies? So when they packing up their mamas and daddies, what they're gonna try to use those people from India over, they're gonna do that Kamala Harris, how they use Kamala Harris to trick you. Since it worked
Mm-hmm.
the first time, you don't think they ain't gonna do that again?
Mm-hmm.
These people can easily claim you because you won't do it. You
Right.
want to be everything else but yourself and
Right.
then try to pretend like you're smart. No, you're an idiot.
Right.
I don't care what church you go to. I don't care how many degrees you got. Dude, are you serious? And this is what you've been trained to do. And remember, you asked for it. You wanted to integrate. You wanted to leave your people behind and join up with these people that you with now. How's it going, cuz?
Yep.
How's it
That's
going?
that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what we did. We went, well, the thing about it is we also have to look at the fact that, okay, your families. I understand that some people don't like their families. Families can be a horrible place where you are abused, used, and all that, misused, everything. But understand this, that, I did a live with my family today because the one thing I realized about doing a reunion this year and the summit was I really do like my family. I love my sister, Copper Coin, and my other sisters and my kids and all that. But trust and believe, there is a magic when you actually do like reunions and you kind of get close to these other cousins, because there are cousins that you may not even have related to as a didn't know as a young person, and you meet them as an adult and you're like, dang, I like you. You're like a sister, and I never was around you like that. You're like my brother, and I like you. I like, I feel like I know you all my life.
Right.
See, it's like you will find out that you have this extended family that are like your sister, your cousin sisters, your brother, your cousin brothers. I call my cousin brother my cousin brother. My brother cousin, because he's like a brother more so than a cousin. You know, and it's crazy because it's like, I mean, seriously, we have this connection. It's like we think the same without even, you know what I mean? We
Right.
just think the same, and it's in the blood. So I mean, when we do not come together in reunion, we miss out on this. We miss out on the fact that we don't leave. That, like my cousin was saying, I miss my mother. My mother passed away. Baby, your mother's in my daughter. Your mother's
Right.
in your granddaughter. Your mother's in your daughter. Your mother's in cousin Donna's kid that you don't know, right?
Right.
But you're not, because we're not coming together, you're not seeing that cousin Donna that you don't know's daughter just like your mom, or so and so auntie that you don't know is just like your mom. And it's gonna make you cry because you're like, gonna feel them. You're gonna feel her there when you're around that person. Because in our bloodline, we live. We continue to live.
Say
They
so. So
they
so
are
Chief
in us. Huh?
so Chief Kriegnos says they're given money and opportunity. That's why they're surviving. Well,
What's he saying?
because the foreigners are being given money and opportunity. Brother, what we give them is nothing compared to the money and opportunity they getting from somewhere else. We support every foreigner over here before we would support our own mama. Right or wrong? You damn right we do. So you can't keep saying what other people doing. What are we doing? We going along with it.
What does he
Ain't that what
mean?
we've been
What does
talking
he
about all
mean?
day? We
They're
don't say
needed to
nothing.
replace us. I don't understand that. They
I
are.
mean, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's like when we speak, all we do, and that's why I'm saying a lot of these motherfuckers are here to just to confuse. Because you got to be a fool if you think if you didn't support, if you supported yourself like you support all these foreigners, just one word, what
Right.
where would we be? It's
Right.
a simple question.
Right.
If we supported ourselves like we supported the foreigners, where would we be? Now niggas can't talk. I
Right.
didn't know what you said.
Right.
You know, we always
Right.
playing these old dumb nigga games.
That's another thing you need to voice. Why not? I mean, like I was sending messages on Facebook to Netflix. I don't want to see no more Africans on Netflix. I'm tired of seeing these Nigerian fucking movies, these African actors playing us. I actually don't want to see nothing that they do, okay? Because they're flat, they're boring, and they're not even attractive. I don't want to see them. I'm just sick of them. So I don't want to see these Africans all over Netflix. But if you don't say anything again, where's your voice? At least you got Facebook, you got their website. You can say, I don't want to see this shit. You can give them a thumbs down when you rate shit. I just went through one day and I started giving all the damn foreigner acting movies. I just gave them all thumbs down. Okay. I just gave them all because this is just ridiculous. They do this because we don't say anything. They are not replacements because they are subpar. Everything they do to win is imitate us. They aren't authentically their culture, but then they try to damn us and say we ain't got no culture. Why are you copying me then? If we don't have no culture, why are you getting yourself altered to look like me? If you have no culture, why are you eating my collard greens? Why you eat my food?
And if we have no culture, why are you leaving your culture to come over here and try to pretend to be this culture over here?
Right. So I mean,
So,
we need to voice that too.
and we also need to stop supporting those people that don't support you. I mean,
Right.
what is that, y'all? I mean, seriously? I see you going into all these restaurants and all this stuff, trying to eat up everybody's stuff, and you won't even support your own self. So this is what I'm saying. Before we open our mouth complaining about other people, what
Mm-hmm.
are we doing about ourselves? And
Right.
when you really look at it, I mean, stop fucking around, playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
We we tried our best to dog each other out, as you could see in the Joe Brown Dane Calloway thing. And you will kiss everybody else in the ass. And my question is, where they do that at?
Oh, they do it when we don't have no genders. How about that?
Uh,
Why are we why are we silent on what Obama did to us, bringing this whole alphabet soup agenda to the forefront, making it speed up to the front of the damn line, above daggone our civil rights. We didn't get no civil rights. We got a daggone blip on the damn radar of civil rights, and now we got daggone alphabet people who got more rights than us. How did we let that happen? Distracted by another foreigner, right? By trusting these daggone people coming in acting like us, right? Okay, so now we're not allowed to say anything or think about saying anything about the alphabet people. Okay, let me tell you something. The alphabet people agenda is to sexualize your children. Do you hear me? Anytime you're making this agenda part of your common talk, children need to be all it's prejudice and all stuff. That is, they want to sexualize your children. They trying to get your children thinking about things they don't have no business thinking about. I had a very G-rated childhood and I loved it. I did. I didn't know a damn thing. My innocence was intact. I loved being naive. That was great. These poor kids don't get a chance to be naive. They don't get a chance to be innocent because you got this alphabet agenda that they being pushed on. Let me tell you something. People will tell you you're prejudiced. I had somebody. I was in that now this site, and there was a march on femicide, and at the Mexican border. And somebody said there is femicide. That's wrong. There is no gender. And I was like, see, these gender erasers are a problem because that causes abuse of women. When you do not respect the feminine, and you think a man can be the feminine, that leads to our abuse. That leads to our abuse. There is no value. You are lessening the value of the women by making these men women. And if you don't understand that, you don't. Let me tell you something. And then people will say, and then somebody said to me, I was racist and prejudiced or whatever I was, prejudiced by creating hate and all this. I said, let me tell you something. First of all, you're creating hate because I have a right to my culture and my beliefs. I'm an Accomack Indian and I don't believe in this alphabet thing. And I don't support it. I don't want my kids exposed to this thinking about sex. I liked the fact that Ricky and Lucy didn't sleep in the same bed. That's fine. They don't need to know about that. Let's give them a G world. They have time to grow up. That's part of our culture trying to protect the young. So if these colonialists want to overexpose the young and sexualize them, it is my right as an indigenous person to say, hell no. That is against my culture and heritage.
Yeah, that Barack Obama thing. I mean, I, Negroes won't ever be given for that because there's no reason to be that dumb. Y'all didn't see this when they first started. I mean, when this first cat first hit, how many of us got caught up into that? And you see, and remember this LGBT thing. Y'all remember Oprah Winfrey on the down low? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
See how this stuff gets started? And
Yeah.
we ain't said shit since.
Right.
And so when we try to go to blame and say something now, we look like idiots because we never say nothing. Kind of like the Kamala Harris now. You see all those shines that was for her last year. You know, they ain't saying nothing now. You know why they ain't saying nothing? Because they realize that they made asses of themselves. And they're going to try to be quiet to act like they were on your side the whole time. And this is what Lisa was saying earlier. Dude, there is no faster way for us to lose than doing that dumb shit.
First of all, we got to recognize that politics is just like daggone the Dane Calloway and Judge Joe Mathis. It's for entertainment purposes only. They're all on the same team. The only reason politics exists is to daggone separate the peasants. Is to keep you confused. Is to be able to control us and keep at each other's throats. Because if we team up and realize they all on the same team, then they're in trouble. They gotta appear to be in opposition. But guess what, y'all? They too smart for that. You too dumb to realize that they are on the same team, then that's you. That's you at fault. But the sooner that people will wise up and call them out on it, is the sooner you can get your daggone country and your rights back.
And start governing yourselves.
That's right. But as long as you act like a peasant and don't speak up, don't voice your discontent. Do not wake up and tell them, I do not consent to this. You shall not do this to me or mine. Then you're just a peasant, and you have no value. If you don't have no value for yourself, who else is going to value you? If you give them power, why wouldn't they take it? If you act like you can't govern and control yourself and speak for yourself and think for yourself and that others have a right to do it, then they will. Like I shut that damn bitch down. I said, girl, what are you talking about? I'm an indigenous person, and how dare you tell me what my culture should be? Your colonialism ain't working. You're not going to tell me that I'm going to value some alphabet stuff and put your daggone morals on me. You're not doing it because you're erasing me. How about that? Shut
So we
them
got to start
down.
speaking up,
Shut them
y'all.
down.
Yes, ma'am. So Lisa, it's coming up on the hour. So you want to leave us with the last words?
I just want you all to do real things. Take real steps. Do real research. Talk to your real family. Get together with your extended families. Make a plan. It don't cost a lot to get together. Realize there's gonna be you may not love some of your folk, but I'm sure once you get enough of y'all together, you're gonna find some new people that you do. In addition to that, you got to talk and get your research done. And as you get your research done, you got to do real things to organize yourself into something that can actually protect you, protect your kin. You can get your people out of jail. You can keep your people from going to jail. You can get yourself free from these taxes. You can get yourself free from this damn system. But if you do it as a family, that's the only way.
Because they, just normally how like if your husband and wife call the police on you, you working with them. Just imagine if you work with each other, what would happen?
Right.
Just imagine if you work with each other for a minute
Mm-hmm.
instead of going to everybody else but your family. You run to everybody else, and they always use it against you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lisa, I just want to say thank you tonight because that was real cool. And guys, and for both, I mean, for Lisa and I, that what you had to go through with Judge Brown and Dan Calloway, you shouldn't have to go through no dumb shit like that ever.
Nope.
You got more important things to do. So I want to say thank you for joining with us tonight. And tomorrow we're gonna be on what rebel. And we're gonna look at some of these words that we use, how these words are used to trick us and keep us confused and dumb. Words that you use every day, words that you use against yourself, like black. So we'll see you tomorrow with that. You guys have a good night and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.